Hello everybody and welcome back to the Walsall Rewind, where this time round myself and Paul will be looking back at the busy month of September as Matt Sadler's side played 7 matches across 3 different competitions. As well as looking back at these games, we'll also be looking at things that are going on elsewhere at the football club because there is plenty happening behind the scenes. Paul, with the amount of games we've got, as always, we'll just get straight into it. And at the start of the month, we took a trip to League One side and local neighbours, Birmingham City, in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. And what turned out to be a really entertaining game and probably one of the best performances we're likely to see from the Saddlers this season against a team that are being described as everything under the sun from League One managers, and rightly so with the money that's been spent. I think Christoph Clara, who got the equaliser in that game for Blues, cost them 4 million, well, a reported 4 million. But it was the Saddlers who walked away with the extra point in that one, having won 4-3 on penalties, and what a moment for Sam Hornby as well.
Absolutely, and obviously it was a game you were looking forward to very much, wasn't it, Tom?
No.
Great night for the Saddlers. On the back of a good August, you want to kick off the month on a high, and it was a tough game. Yes, it's the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. I mean, it can change his name every year, doesn't it? Trying hard to remember. The Bristol Checker Trade.
Papa John's. There's so many names.
I know. The trophy.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kick off the trophy campaign, and the month, in a good mood and carry on that momentum from August. And the Saddlers did just that, didn't they? Tough game against Blues, as you said, whether they're the Harlem Globetrotters or the Real Madrid of League One, whatever you want to call them. Yes, they've spent a lot of money, and it just so happened to be the debut of a certain Mr. Stansfield who cost... probably a lot more than the whole town of Walsall, let's be honest. But so obviously there was a lot of that, and I want to say 1,000 Saddlers fans, wasn't it, on the night for a trophy game. I thought that was outstanding. Yes, it's only down the road, but Tuesday night in the trophy, over 1,000 Saddlers fans, and what a racket they made. I think, of all the positives that night, that really stood out, didn't it? But brilliant night. I thought the Saddlers really grew into that game. Obviously, naturally, Birmingham City are going to have a lot of ball with the quality that they had, and they did put a strong team out, didn't they? I know there was a lot of changes, but obviously Stanfield coming in for his debut. I think we saw the likes of Iwata involved as well. He's sort of started the season well for Blues, hasn't he? So, good strong team from Blues, a lot of experience, a lot of players who are doing really well for them in League One. So it was a really tough test, but the Saddlers grew into the game, held their own, and created some good chances, and then got that opening goal through Charlie Lakin. There was a really good pullback. Was it by Connor Barrett?
Shock.
I know. But he's, he knew where Lakin was going to be, and it's that classic sort of Lampard arriving late run, wasn't it? And he thumps it into the net, and again the Saddlers continued to really battle, and obviously as the game went on, naturally Birmingham made changes, and they build up that momentum and they start peppering the goal, but that's when the likes of Harry Williams really stood up to be counted, and that back line and Sam Hornby. But I think Harry Williams was really stand out that night, wasn't he? Obviously, we all saw the TikTok that we produced after, and it was absolutely correct because he didn't have a sniff all night. And Harry was kicking, heading, throwing his body at absolutely everything. It was a warrior-like performance from him and the entire defence, and then what became a defensive unit as Blues really put on the pressure. Okay, they did get that goal, but credit to the Saddlers after the goal. They could have easily crumbled, couldn't they? And Colin conceded a winner, but they held their nerve. Sam Hornby, some outstanding saves from distance, from some of the Blues shots, some really great saves, and then into that penalty shootout, and he was the hero again. And the Saddlers have 2 outstanding goalkeepers, and at another club, Hornby could probably be starting every week as well, but such is the quality that Matt Sadler has at his disposal. Every week he's got a decision to make.
Yeah, he has, and I think obviously there was that photo of Sam after the game where he's shushing the Blues fans, because I think Jay Stansfield had scored his penalty in the shootout and shushed the travelling 1,000 Walsall supporters. It had obviously rattled him a little bit at that point, and credit, like you say, probably does go to Harry Williams for not giving him a sniff all game in that one. And I know Sam particularly enjoyed that, being a Villa fan. Not that he shouted that too loudly from the rooftops at the time, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying it. But coming out of that one, it was great to see the Saddlers pick up a second point in that one, because that's how it works in a trophy. You get a point extra for winning the shootout, and it was one of those, like you say, where you wanted that momentum to carry on from a good August. And then you go back into league action against MK Dons. And there was that worry of, because of everything that had been thrown into that game against Blues, it was a real workman-like performance. It had to be against an expansive Birmingham City side who have spent all that money. It's well documented. You go into an MK Dons team who, not similarly in regards to spending lots of money, but they've added real quality into that group. And albeit they hadn't started particularly well, managers since left and gone to another League Two side. But it was one of those where we knew what it was like last year going there, the 5-0. It was a disastrous day last year for the Saddlers. And it was a real tough game again this time out. Single goal in it coming from Callum Hendry. And it just looked like a game that was perhaps beyond the reach of the Saddlers as it went on.
Yeah, after going into that Birmingham game, it was on the back of that Cheltenham game where I think we lost 3 players in the first half through injury, didn't we? So, all right, we knew we were going to be without Liam Gordon anyway, because he was on international duty, but such was his injury, he didn't go. But obviously we were without Tommy Simpkins, so Sam Hornby kept his place in goal. But I think at the time the squad was, fairly thin in terms of numbers, in terms of with the injuries and obviously the international call-ups. So to have exerted so much energy in that Birmingham City game against a League One side and done so well, gone to penalties, naturally any team's going to have a slight hangover and really have to look after their recovery after that one, as the Saddlers always do, by the way. So going into that MK Dons game, I think what MK Dons are going to do. They're going to want to keep the ball, they want to suffocate the game. They've got a big pitch, haven't they? And they really use that big pitch well. Okay, they hadn't got off to the best of starts that this season at the time when we went there. But that doesn't change the quality they've got. I think I looked at their midfield going into it. It was probably, I think, 3 out of 4 were different from last season. So perhaps there was an element of they're still trying to gel. But it was a tough game. They were particularly dangerous in some of the wide areas, which I think where the goal came from initially. But while they had a lot of possession, I didn't feel like they really hurt the Saddlers a lot. And the Saddlers, I think we've probably last season in the back of their minds it was, okay, stay in the game rather than trying to overexert ourselves, trying to force it. But I just think on the day, bit of misplaced passing, some sometimes poor decisions on the ball, but it wasn't for a lack of endeavour, a lack of fight. They did battle. I think Matt Sadler admitted that they sort of came away from what they are, and that was not like his team, albeit, again, the way they battled to stay in the game. And I think it was more of a case of lack of quality on the ball, or not really capitalising on the moments where a chance could have been created by making that right pass, looking after the pass, or maybe going the simple ball rather than forcing a long one, for example. Just that bit of quality was just missing. But it like that Tranmere game, yes, the Tranmere performance in the defeat was a better performance. However, in both those games, there was a point there for the Saddlers at least. So I think there was encouragement to be took that in the 2 games that had been lost so far, there was actually green shoots in different respects, that the Saddlers could have got a point if they were better on the ball at MK. Saddlers could have got something out of Tranmere had they gone ahead with the penalty and really took advantage of their dominance. So there was no need to panic after that one, but I think that was the game we also welcomed back DJ off the bench, and that was a nice moment after everything he went through in the summer.
Yeah, you mentioned DJ, it was going to be my next point, because the next game after that is Bradford, and we all know what happened in that Bradford game. He obviously gets that crowning glory moment. There's also that little bit of crowning glory moment in Taylor Allen scoring a penalty. Yes, we scored a penalty. I know Sads probably won't like us celebrating that too much in regards to the ones that we've missed, but we scored a penalty, so that was a bit like, when it got given, it was like one of those, oh no, we've got a penalty. Oh my God, we've actually scored the penalty. Taylor obviously giving us the lead. Oliver Sanderson then equalised, later on in that first half. Almost a little bit against the run of play. They didn't have too much in the game, and then you think, the Saddlers, is it going to be one of those where they're still suffering a little bit of a hangover from the Blues game? They didn't. DJ came off the bench. He had a chance literally minutes before, which I think he completely fluffed. near enough identical to the one that then presented itself to him in the last couple of minutes of normal time. And at that point, when a ball comes in from Albert Adoma, he's the person that you want unmarked, 6 to 8 yards out, to have a header, albeit he's not played the amount of games, he's not had the pre-season that he probably would have wanted with, like we say, with what happened with him in the summer being unwell. But he takes it so well, and what a moment for him.
Oh, brilliant. What great scenes at the Poundland Bescot Stadium, and hell of a ball from Adoma, wasn't it? And you touch on the chance he just missed before. When I spoke to him after the game, I actually wasn't sure whether he touched it or not, and he said he just sort of brushed his head. And, he was, I think part of him was also still kicking himself at that one, because I think he felt he just got underneath it, missed on the jump a little bit. But he makes no mistake with the second one, and it's such a DJ goal that he's in the right place at the right time, gets a great head to it. He's just got that knack, hasn't he? And what a moment for him after everything he went through. And it was, I think the Saddlers deserved it in the end. As you touched on, I felt Sanderson's goal did come against the run of play. However, Bradford did grow in confidence afterwards as well. So, there's part of you, then what comes in your mind is the game here in April where the Saddlers were absolutely flying 2-0 up, and all of a sudden Bradford get one back and they build up that head of steam and turn the game on its head. But nothing of the sort. And I thought in the end, despite what the contrary thinks, it was a deserved win, and I think the Saddlers won fair and square.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of a puddle out there in the technical area from Graham Alexander's tears. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but thankfully the ground staff have managed to clear that one up. And the next game wasn't postponed due to a Walsall pitch because of those tears, but it was Fulham under-21s next up, again in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. DJ then getting his second goal in a matter of days with what he will say was a flick towards goal, and I think on the balance of play it looked like that, but it's an instinctive finish, isn't it? He comes at him really quickly, just pops a foot out towards it and scores, and the Saddlers win 1-0 in that one.
Trusted his body, didn't he?
Yeah.
To direct it again. Yes, it sort of comes at him. It's a shot from Charlie Lakin, isn't it? And but he'll take the assist, I'm sure. But yeah, manages to turn it home, and that was all that separated the sides in the end. But I don't think that tells the full story. I thought Fulham really grew into it after as well, caused a few problems towards the end. As they did to Shrewsbury. Don't forget they beat Shrewsbury in their first game, so they were a tidy little outfit managed by Hayden Mullins, who of course was managed in the EFL with Colchester as well. I think Matt Sadler alluded to that because he knows sort of both sides of the coins. He knows what the EFL teams are going to be like, and he's been an EFL manager managing against an under-21 side, so he knows both dynamics. So they provided a real test for us. And obviously Sam Hornby, again, he's the hero of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. Have they got a Player of the Month award? Because if so, it's got to be Sam Hornby, hasn't it? Saved that penalty right at the death. There's you and I sat there looking, penalty shootout, another one. But Sam Hornby saved the day, and we get home 20 minutes earlier. So cheers for that, Sam Hornby. But now, on a serious note, that was really important because it took the Saddlers to 5 points, and that's a really commanding position in this group. I know Birmingham and Fulham have to play each other, don't they? That'll be Blues' second game, and then that'll be Fulham's third, and then of course we'll take on Shrewsbury in our final encounter. So still all to play for, but the Saddlers in a really commanding position to get through. And if it's the same as previous years, I believe finishing top guarantees you a home tie in the last 32. So I'm sure Matt Sadler will be hoping to get at least 2 points from the next match against Shrewsbury to really secure top spot. So good position in that competition. Obviously we're going to touch on the Carabao Cup soon as well, but the Saddlers fighting on all fronts, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And then you're back into league action. The game's coming thick and fast in September. You go away to Salford City, and obviously you weren't there for that one. You were at a family wedding, but it was one of those away days that I think is going to, be a fond memory for a lot of people this season in particular, because particularly of the second half performance that really sort of rubber stamps just how good the Saddlers can be and are this season. Goals from Nathan Lowe, and what a finish it is from the young lad on loan from Stoke. And then Charlie Lakin gets his first league goal for the Saddlers to hand us all 3 points on the road in front of a packed out away. And we've just got good memories from there, haven't we? And this one adds on to it.
Yeah, I was gutted to miss Salford away because we always get a good away in there, don't we? Sadler's fans always travel in their numbers to Salford, and they feel that stand behind the goal and the bit towards the side as well. So I love that away end. And like you said, I'll always remember the first trip to Salford. I think Josh Gordon, Keelan Lavery in a 2-1 win, in a sold out away end as well. Then I always remember that day last year as well with Mackenzie and Freddie. So good memories, and I was gutted to miss it. Even more gutted when I saw the result. But thankfully we were between the church and the reception, so I managed to get myself on Sadler's Plus and listen to your commentary. Thankfully I didn't have to see your dancing. That's one relief of that day. We've all seen that on TikTok. Yeah, looked like a really good day, and it felt like it was. I think it really showed the sort of mentality of this team now. I think got that first half where, you're going at half time 0-0, not quite got that goal, but you're patient and you hold your nerve, and then picking your moments to really hurt teams, and pick the moments to get the first goal, Nathan Lowe, and then it looked like it was really dominant from there, and Salford couldn't live with us, and it could have been more than two, couldn't it, from the reports I've had and the bits of highlights I've seen. So really assured performance, and I think it was important to get another win away from home. Obviously won the first one at Swindon, then a couple of setbacks at Tranmere and MK, so it's good to get back on track away from a clean sheet as well. I think that'll be the most pleasing thing for Matt Sadler. So again, really good day, and momentum all of a sudden back with the Sadlers.
Yeah, it is, and I think the head coach had mentioned after the game the terrible news for Taylor, and after losing his dad in the build up to that game, and tremendous for him to go out and get the win and get the rewards for being so brave to going out there. And I think the thoughts of everyone at the football club with Taylor and his family, in what must be an incredibly difficult time for them, and he continued to show, he continues to show just how. What an amazing young man he is, and you go into show what he's all about in those kind of games, doesn't it? That he can go out there and do that.
Oh, well, first of all, again, I'll repeat what you say. Condolences to Taylor and his family and friends at this difficult time. But what an outstanding young man Taylor Allen is, and has been since the first day we met him. Hasn't he? He's been classed with us as well. Whatever we ask of him, or any way he can help us, he does. So, really admirable. I've really enjoyed watching him play since he's been at the Sadlers, and he's really made that position his own. I've watched him grow. He's become a leader, and I don't think anyone would have begrudged him if he didn't play that day. It would have been totally understandable, and everyone at the club supports him, and that's what I love about the culture Matt Sadler's built as well. Everyone rallied round. Everyone was behind him. And I think perhaps that maybe offered that bit of comfort with his teammates all around him. But I was so pleased we managed to get that victory for him. And obviously Matt Sadler dedicated it to Taylor and his family. So full credit to Tails, and all our thoughts are with him and his family, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next game. And it was arguably the biggest game of the month, the biggest game of the season so far in regards to the opponent that we welcomed. It was Premier League newcomers Leicester City. Obviously, we faced them a couple of seasons prior in a different competition, a different cup competition. That was the FA Cup at that point. But this time round, third round of the Carabao Cup. So it's another one where I don't actually think Leicester deserved anything from it, but they got themselves a 3-0 penalty shootout victory.
Another penalty
shootout, but it was one that the Sadlers probably should have found themselves in the fourth round of the Cup.
Yeah, outstanding performance. Full credit to every single player who was involved that night, because that was a hell of a shift. And the Sadlers made Leicester City fans sing "This is embarrassing," and Cooper sort it out, which I think tells you the story. Well, even one of them ran on the pitch to try and
Big Dave.
Walsall's best steward, David Acagwe. Get him at that award, Steward of the Year. Big Dave, absolutely love it. WWE, eat your heart out. But yeah, so really good performance. A clean sheet against a Premier League side who didn't have a shot on target till the 80th minute. I think the energy the Sadlers showed that night, the confidence and the belief. It was a fantastic night. Great crowd here, over 8,000. plenty of media here, so it was great to have national eyes on the Saddlers, and a lot of them coming up to me after games saying, "Good side here, really impressed with him. You look like you could do something this year," and that's how we've been all season. So it was really good to have national eyes on us, and national eyes see what a good team we are, and what great spirit here is at the club, what great unity and the togetherness. All that was shown, and so unlucky not to get to that third round. Had chances to win it. I felt in the final 10 minutes you expect the Premier League side to be piling on the pressure, but it was the Saddlers. It was the ball was constantly going down towards the Poundland stand. So just so gutted we couldn't get to that fourth round. And then when the next day when my dad messaged me and told me who Leicester got in the draw. I know people say, the numbers might not have been different, but we could have had a trip to Old Trafford, and that's exactly what the players and Matt Sadler would have deserved as well. But you got to move on. FA Cup's round the corner, but league's the bread and butter.
As you can see, Paul wouldn't have been too disappointed or too happy with who we would have got in that one.
Barrow, he would have.
But, you can go into having the disappointment, having that proverbial hangover from that cup disappointment and going back into the league. But there was none of that going into the Colchester game. And I thought the Colchester game was going to be, a game where the Saddlers, again, might have had a similar sort of setback to what they had against MK Dons. But because of how good we are at home, there's just that confidence, isn't there? And I think, a first league goal for Jamie Jellis, an unbelievable ball over the top from Taylor Allen, the touch from Jellis. If that's in the Premier League or if that's on the like you say, the national, global stage, that goal's been replayed throughout the week. The ball over the top is amazing from Tails. The touch from Jellis to take it down over his shoulder, pop it round one defender and then smash it past the keeper. It's such a good goal. And then you get Albert Adoma who comes on, 30 passes in the build-up to that goal. It's such a good goal again. And then a brace from Jack Earing right at the death, I think it was the 89th and 92nd minute, just to completely kill the game off. That's the kind of win that you want to show that there was obviously disappointment, but that's been put behind them.
Ruthless, aggressive. Again, I think it was, picking their moments as well. Colchester was a good side. I was really impressed with that. Was it Rory Edwards on the left-hand side? Really dangerous player. I think it was the first time I saw, Conor Barrett not be able to get forward as much as he would have liked in a game. I thought he was sort of penned in as well because Edwards was causing a lot of problems. But I think the Saddlers really, obviously they dug in that early period in the game and, slowly found their feet and fed their way into it and got that first goal. And like we said, the ball from Taylor Allen, the weight of pass is superb, and the touch from Jellis. We didn't have a great view of it here in the press box, but when you see it from the angle by the goal, oh my days! As you say, I think when we were watching Sky Sports News on a Monday morning, I think they'd delay ref watch just to keep replaying that goal. It was a sublime touch and great way to get your first league goal for the Saddlers. To go on top of your Carabao Cup goal. So he's made a fantastic start, hasn't he? This season, Jamie Jellis, which is great to see. And yeah, like you said, 30 passes. It was unbelievable the way the Saddlers just were so patient in their build up, and then Conor Barrett. Apparently, he's not even gone down as his assist. So Opta, come on, sort it out. Give him that assist for the ball across to Albert Adoma. It's a deft little cheeky flick from Albert Adoma, who's just vibes any Albert Adoma. I just love him. He's just like that big smile around the place. I think he did the pre-match press of the day before as well, and you just non-stop laughing. It's just like he's such great company. Like, it's no wonder that even if there's setbacks for the team, they'll walk in the training ground, see Albert Adoma, and everyone will just be laughing and giggling, have a smile on their face when they're going to work because he's so infectious, and I think that's really rubbed off on the players, the squad, the fans, and really pleased for him to get another goal for the Saddlers as he's edging closer to 100 career goals. And congratulations to him on his 700th career appearance. He was presented with a signed shirt from the squad that day as well, wasn't he? So outstanding achievement again from the record championship appearance holder. So well done, Albert. And then just as pleased for Jack Earing because he had to miss the Leicester game, didn't he? With a slight hamstring. So I think everyone just wants to see Jack Earing get over 40 games. So not only was it great to have him back on the pitch so quickly, but got himself 2 goals. And fair play to Nathan Lowe as well, unselfish in squaring it to him and making sure it was that emphatic victory, and we got the goal. So credit to him. Real team performance. Again, the togetherness. And I think that is Walsall's USP, the togetherness.
Yeah, exactly. I think Liam Gordon going into this weekend's game, he's done press, just before the Chesterfield game at the time of filming, spoke about the superpower that the team have got in the togetherness. And I think that comes into what we've just discussed for the month of September. There is a real togetherness. There's no blaming each other, and I think again that comes from the top down. That comes from Sads, that comes from Gaz, that comes from Daz, that comes from Dan Still. It comes from everybody within that group, everybody at the football club. There is that real togetherness there now. And you mentioned the goals that Jack Earing has scored there. There was 10 goals scored in the month of August. Paul, what would be your goal of the month?
August.
Sorry, I've got that written down as August. It's September.
Got my goal of the month. I'm going Jamie Jellis. I love the ball over the top from tails. I think the touch is outrageous, like ridiculous, and a great finish as well. And it was his first league goal for the Saddlers, and I'm sure it won't be his last. So yeah, that's my goal of the month for September.
Mine would have to be DJ's purely for the DJ's against Bradford, purely for the scenes in front of that stand, and then he runs over into the technical area and has a big hug with Matt Sadler as well. I think togetherness, it just goes to show that the noise from the outside doesn't always transcend what's on happening beyond in those 4 walls there. And I think massive congratulations to DJ for getting that goal, and I think it just went to show what it meant to him, what it meant to the squad, and just everybody inside the stadium. Those are our goals of the month. You've now got your chance to vote for yours over on our social media pages. Make sure you go and check that out. We'll pick 4 goals from those 10, and you can vote for your favourite and let us know which one would be your winner. Elsewhere at the football club, I mentioned in the last episode, our conference and events team have some brilliant Christmas nights coming up in December with good availability for a whole host of their events. None more so than the Christmas with the Players night here at the Poundland Bescott Stadium. Following the success of the night last year, this year we're hoping that even more of you will be able to come along on Thursday the 12th of December. If you're interested, head over to our e-ticketing website or call the conference and events team for more information. There are also tickets available for a comedy evening here with Black Country comic Johnny Cole, who will be live in the locker after our game against Barrow on Saturday the 14th of December. Tickets are just £10 for anybody who's planning to come to that fixture, or £12 for others. In the commercial department, we would like to say a huge thank you to Ray Gray Snacks for their continued support with the work that they're doing alongside our foundation. Ray Gray Snacks are kindly subsidising places in the holiday and play scheme for a 12-month period, with over 8,000 child care-free hours gifted to the community, which is absolutely unbelievable. Extra to that fantastic gesture from those, some of the lucky winners will be able to join the foundation for our game against Crewe on November the 9th. Experience matchday hospitality and watching the game from an executive box. So a huge shout out to Ray Gray Snacks for the support that they continue to show us here at the football club. We would also like to extend our thanks to all of our matchday sponsors for our games in the month of September. And again, another big shout out to Match Worn Shirt and From the Club for their continued support for us here at the football club. Elsewhere in the club shop, we are pleased to finally say that we have home shirts back in stock. They are available to purchase both online and in store, so make sure you come down and get yours with shop availability hours online, so just go and check those out. Paul, with that out of the way, we are now at this moment in time in October of filming. We know the outcome of the Fleetwood game, so we'll discuss that at length, I'm sure. Purely because there was a lot to talk about in that one. There's 5 games coming up in October with everything that's going on. It would have been 6, but the Bromley game has been postponed due to Liam Gordon, Brandon Comley, Donovan Daniels and Tommy Simkin all receiving international call-ups. So when they go off, best of luck, lads. We hope you have an amazing time away. It's a really proud moment for all of them representing their countries. But going into this month, Paul, the Saddlers sat second in the league prior to that Fleetwood game, point behind leaders Gillingham, having just lost to a Premier League team on penalties. I think anyone connected with the football club can say, can be proud of the start of the season that the Saddlers have had.
That's it. 13 games in August and September, wasn't it? So a lot squeezed into a short space of time, and really good platform to go into this autumn/winter period, which, I think you'll really find out about a lot of what you're fighting for in this period. I think by just before Christmas, you kind of have an idea of what the rest of your season's possibly going to look like. Well, unless you're Doncaster last year, I think they were the exception to the rule. But though I think it was always important to get off to a good start and show consistency early doors, and the Saddlers have done that in August and September. So I think everyone connected with the football club will be really pleased, whether you're within, supporter, or I think even outsiders and neutrals looking in and thinking Walsall got off to a really good start. Walsall look good this season. So really good position, but as Matt Sadler completely reiterates, he knows his team aren't the finished article yet. He wants more. The players want more. They've all said it themselves. Whenever we speak to them, they want more. They're really demanding of themselves, and I think the squad's in a really good place. A lot of games in September, there were 4 players fully fit who obviously unable to make the 18, and that's not a case of players being better than others. It's a case of got a hell of a strong squad, and 23, 24 players all capable of being in a starting 11. So that's credit to from Trevella all the way down to the coaching staff, the recruitment, the players themselves for all their hard work in putting this squad together. So yes, there'll be bumps in the road. We know that. We've seen that. There's evidence of that. But I think there's exciting times ahead, and looking forward to the games in October.
Yeah, we hope you are too. And, as always, we'd like to say thank you for your support out there in the stands. Thank you for your support on these kind of videos. It doesn't go unnoticed. And I think, we've played 9 games in the league so far this season. There's still an awful long way to go. 37 games left to go. Still a long, long way. If you're watching this before our game against Chesterfield, we hope you have a safe trip up there. I think there's 999 tickets sold for that one. That was the entire...
But they've just given us an extra one.
No. So the entire allocation gone there. It's been gone for a couple of weeks now. So support on the road's been unbelievable. We hope you have an amazing day out there, and fingers crossed we've got a win to talk about when we come back for the rewind for October. Let us know in the comment section of the YouTube video who you think should get the goal of the month. Again, thanks for joining on this one. Paul, thanks for joining me. And we'll see you next time. And come on, you Saddlers.